Welcome to Lesson 3, the importance of local SEO. In this lesson, we'll basically have two topics that we cover. One is local SEO statistics, and two are some local SEO success stories. So I hope you really like these success stories. I won't share too many details about my clients, but I'll share a little bit about their stories, and I hope you like them. So let's get started with some local SEO statistics. Now I'll say, full disclosure, I did not vet these statistics, which makes me feel bad as a member of a top research university in this country. But we're just going to pretend like these numbers are at least close enough to accurate where we can share this information with our clients. But this should show you that local SEO is important to do. So let's get into it. The first statistic I want to share with you is this one right here. 46% of Google searches are local. That's crazy. According to this, there are 8.5 billion searches per day, and almost half of those are local searches. So you definitely want to be working on your local SEO strategy, especially if you're a local business. Now, some people don't realize this because they think that businesses, or they think that the majority of the business they get is through referrals, but 97% of people learn more about a local company online than anywhere else. So everybody is using Google. This next statistic is the reason why local SEO is a good service to offer. It says that 61% of businesses say that generating traffic and leads is their number one challenge. If they could get more leads, they would be doing better as a business. And so that is what we're hoping to solve with our service. And that brings us to number 8. I don't know how accurate this is or how they were able to get this number, but according to this, local SEO leads have nearly a 15% close rate. That's pretty interesting because if you were to do cold outreach, your close rate would probably be around 1%. And so this is much higher than that. And so it doesn't seem very impressive, but once you start to learn more about sales, you know that a 15% close rate is actually pretty high. And so another reason why you might want to focus more on local SEO. Number 9 on this little list here says 28% of local searches result in a purchase within 24 hours. And this makes me think of the Amazon effect, right? If I need something within those 2 days that it's going to take for the Amazon package to show up where I live, not where my parents live, I can order something at 11 a.m. and it'll show up at 2:30, which is crazy. How does that work from an economical standpoint? Anyway, when it comes to that Amazon effect, of you need something before it's going to show up in the mail, you're going to look for a local result. You're going to look for something near me, and you want something that's in stock that you could pick up today. And that, I think, is why this 28% purchase within 24 hours is key. Now, most of the people we're going to work with are going to be service-based businesses, particularly those with higher ticket offers. It's just better to work with people with higher ticket offers because if you only have to get a couple more plumbing leads per month, you can show the results to your client much faster than somebody that has like a gift shop that only sells like $40 trinkets on average. And so that's why high ticket service-based businesses are the best clients to be working with. And then the last statistic I want to share right here is that 58% of people search for a local business on their smartphone daily. Not just the people search on their smartphone, but they do it daily. Now, I've had a lot of clients be like, I don't do that. When I say, when you search blank near me, and they'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. And this is nice because you can point people to this and be like, look, literally the statistics say they're doing these local searches every single day, the majority of people. So even though you might be in the minority, just know that the majority of people do this every single day. Now let's look at a couple more statistics, this time from SEMrush, and so we could probably trust these statistics. They say 60% of people contact businesses directly from local search results. And so in fact, what they're referring to here is the click to call option or a messaging feature in the Google business profile or some other means that makes it so you could directly contact a business from the search results. And so that's one of the reasons why it's super important to make sure Google Business Profile is completely filled out and can handle these leads as they come in, because 60% of people contact the businesses directly. I literally just got a haircut the other day and I filled it out from the booking app that was the button on the Google Business Profile. People are using this stuff. The next stat is startling. 76% visit a business within a day of searching. And so if your client has a physical location, that's a good thing to note. And then the next one says The map apps drive 30 to 40% of local business discovery. So this is really important for anybody that has a physical location, is that not only are there 76% of people showing up within a day of searching, but map apps are helping businesses get found. So those are for businesses with physical locations. Again, this might matter less for our ideal clientele, which are service-based businesses that offer high-ticket offers, but a lot of our clients will actually be hybrid businesses that over time they might have like a shop, and so people might be visiting them to talk about projects, and maybe they have an admin staff there, and so it's going to be important that they show up in the proper location with the right hours, so that way potential clients can show up and discuss projects with them before they can move forward. And then I got two more statistics here. I'm not going to go too much into this one, but I just thought these were startling right here in this little summary at the top. 98% of consumers use the internet to find information about local businesses. That's almost everybody. Like, okay, I don't know what those other 2% of people are doing, but let's just okay, everybody's doing it. And the other one is that 42% of local searches involve clicks on the Google Map pack. Whoa, that's crazy. Almost half of searches end with the map pack. That should underscore the importance of focusing on Google business profiles. Remember, local SEO is three things: Google business profile, website, and backlinks. Again, we're going to dive deeper on this in lesson 5. It's all about those three components of local SEO. But you just saw the importance of number 1. There's a reason why the Google business profile is the first thing we say. It's the first thing that shows up in the SERP. Go back to lesson 1 where we talk about the search engine result page. And 42% of searches stop right there in the map pack. It's important. We need to get it dialed in. And that's exactly why we have a separate course called the Google Business Profile Expert Course that's completely dedicated to filling out the Google Business Profile, getting it set up, optimized, and managing it over time. Okay, so now that we've driven the point home that local SEO is important, we have to make sure that it's getting results for our clients. And so instead of sitting there and reading off more statistics, I thought I would have story time and I'd tell you about a couple of the clients that I've worked with. And so the first one I wanted to talk about is a health coach in my area. So here's the problem. SEO really comes down to two things. It comes down to relevancy, which is Google's algorithm figuring out which SEO bucket you belong in, and authority. Authority determines how high you rank. So if you want to rank for your keyword, you better get your relevancy right. And then you can worry about getting things like backlinks pointing to you to get you to rank higher. Remember, don't buy backlinks on Fiverr or Upwork. Okay. Now the issue with this health coach is they had a relevancy issue. They spent a lot of money, like a lot of money, on a website, over $5,000 for a very basic 5-page website that didn't actually speak about what she did very well. Anyway, I'll leave that alone. But she did not rank for her keyword at all. Literally, the SEO title said home, bar, business name. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. It drives me bonkers. It's not that hard, people. It's literally service in city state. That's it. If you have no idea what it is, just do that. 95% of the time, you'll probably be at least close enough to being right where you'll show up in the right bucket, or at least be close. Now, let me take a second to explain this, because I forgot to mention this earlier, is that I can't tell you exactly how the algorithm works. I don't know. Nobody knows. Unless you're a software engineer at Google, you cannot tell me how the algorithm works. But here's my guess. Search engines are probably best described using a data structure in computer science known as graphs. If you don't know what a graph is, don't worry about it. I barely know what a graph is, but I'm going to try to explain it to you. It's basically a bunch of data points connected together, and between them, the connection is based on weight. And so my assumption, which is probably wrong, is that when you're put in the bucket, it's also based on a certain weight. It's like, this person should be in this bucket by 90%, or this person should be in this bucket by like 5%. Does that make sense? Like, you're only in the bucket by a little bit because I'm pretty sure you're in Bend and I can tell you're a contractor, but I'm not 100% sure that you're supposed to be in that bucket. And so if we can dial that in, that's the way we can control relevancy over time, is by increasing that weight that we're in that bucket. And we can also show up in other buckets, but I believe that it's really hard to be 100% in multiple buckets unless you have pages specifically designed for that. And that's why people have a hard time ranking like a 5-page website for multiple keywords unless they have a ton of authority because they've been around for a long time and there are a lot of other websites pointing back to their website. Okay, now that I've taken that side journey, the issue for our health coach is that they did not have relevancy. Home, bar, business name tells Google nothing about it. Now, in the page, the content itself was okay, but if you don't give the simple signals that tell Google, here's what we do, and if you want, you can skip way ahead to lesson 11, where we talk about our local SEO content strategy, where we talk about those places we have to hit. But none of those places where we talk about the places we have to hit to check all the boxes for relevancy, if you're not doing that, you will not show up in the right SEO bucket. So when I searched health coach Bend, Oregon, guess who showed up? Not our client. They did not show up at all. And so all I did was change the SEO title to, guess what? Health coach in Bend, Oregon. I went to bed, I woke up the next night, and they were ranking 9th. It was that easy. They went from not ranking to ranking on the first page. Now, I should caution you and say that this is not a competitive keyword. That's the reason why they were able to rank so high solely on relevancy. If we wanted to rank them higher, I would work on the authority over time and probably also refine so we can increase the relevancy to get them to rank a little bit higher. But we'll leave it there because that's where the story pretty much ends for now. Sometimes all we have to do is work on relevancy to get the client to show up. Now, that client's a little earlier on in their journey, so I don't have a lot of results to share, but I just want to show you how easy local SEO can be to get instant results. Now let's talk about another easy example, but this one actually has money in the client's pockets. This example is a floor stripping and waxing company. And when I first sat down with the prospect, they said, I used to get phone calls. I used to have a full-time employee, a part-time employee, and I used to be busy. Now I don't get phone calls. It seems like I'm not getting any business from Google anymore. And literally during our chat at a coffee shop, I pulled up his Google business profile and I was like, hey man, this says your business is closed. And he said, I've never seen this before. What probably happened is that during COVID, a lot of businesses shut down. And so somebody probably noticed that and flagged it on Google. And he, rightly so, because he doesn't need to check that because he's out stripping and waxing floors, didn't go back on and turn his Google business profile back on. Literally by the end of our coffee meeting, I had just suggested an edit to his Google business profile. And sure enough, it turned back on. I just said hours, 9 to 5 or whatever. I don't know what I put, something like that, right? And his profile was back on before we even put ink on the paper. That little gesture got him to say, we should work together. And by the end of that first month, he had over 10x, I think it was actually 20x. He had over 20x his initial investment because he got almost $10,000 in work for giving me a $500 check for the first chunk of his SEO foundation sprint. By the way, don't charge $1,000 for an SEO foundation sprint. I was charging too low back then. But that's an example of somebody getting great results right away. That's not typical, but again, as we just saw from all these stats, local SEO can help local businesses. And sometimes little actions can make big differences. Now, really what we need to do for him is a lot more. So we're just getting started there, but that's a good example of how some small actions can really have a big impact for the client. Now let's tell another story. This person is a mobile RV repairman. Pretty cool. He's actually got this big truck. He goes around and he fixes RVs all over Central Oregon. And this is important because there's a lot of RVs in Central Oregon. But the problem, the pain point that his customers have is that all the RV shops in town are full. It's weeks out, literally. Now the problem is when I met with the client, he had a decent website, but he wasn't getting any business. And so he reached out to me because he wanted help with SEO. So started with the SEO foundation sprint. And again, it was a relevancy issue. He was ranking in like the 30s because his page just wasn't quite dialed in for the service and the city. So we dialed it in. He started to show up towards the end of the first page. And then I started to work on trying to get him to rank higher. And we worked on the Google business profile. These are really important things. And at the end towards the end of the second month, we sat down, we had coffee at a diner, and he said, you know what, Sam, I don't know if this is working out. And I said, dang it, man, it's barely been 2 months. Please stick with me, ride this out. Let's see where we go. And I can tell you that within 2 months, I was trying to get a hold of him because he said, we need to have a talk in the next couple of weeks because it was still slow. And next thing you know, he started to get a few jobs from phone calls from the website. He started to get each day with jobs on it, and then he started to get each day full. Those are real results from SEO. It took time. His business has some seasonality, but at this point, if you look, he's showing up very high on the first page in Bend and Prineville and Redmond, and that's exactly what you want to see. There's pretty big competition actually in this space, but he's showing up amongst the big guys. They're too busy, so people are going down to the next search result, and they get to him, and he can handle it, and now he's busy. That's what we like to see. He trusted the process, and it worked. Now, let me finish by telling you my favorite story. This client is a cabinet maker, and my journey with him started off by just doing a simple website redesign. We had to relocate him from his former location to Bend. And when we got done, I was actually just starting to offer SEO services. This was going to be my first SEO client. And I said, my man, let me do these SEO services for you. It's going to totally help you out, get you established in Bend. I know you just relocated. Let me help you out. Your page is landing around 30th for cabinets in this area, but we need you to rank higher than that to get you any business. And he looked at me, and he honestly did this little take over to his shop, and he looked back at me. And I could see over there was like one project. And he was really honest. He said, I don't know if I have the cash flow to do this right now. Let me think about it. And he thought about it for a week, and I got really lucky because on day 6, he got a contact form submission that turned into a lead that I believe turned into a project. And that gave him the energy to go forward. And if I'm being honest, it was like an SEO care plan at like $400 a month, and I think I gave him a month for free. Please don't do that. Go forward, and I'll tell you more about SEO care plans. Now, at the time, I was still skeptical. This was my first paid SEO client. Am I really going to get my man results? Or is he going to be stuck with very little projects, and I'm just stealing his money? That's what I felt like. That was the doubt that was in me. But I sat down, and I followed the process that will be laid out throughout the rest of this course. And when I went back 3 months later, to see if he wanted to re-up, if he wanted to keep going, because, you know, no contracts here with our SEO plans. I looked my man in the eye and I said, what do you think? Should we keep going? And again, he looked over at the shop and I looked over at the shop and I saw a completely full shop. I saw a helper wearing a sweatshirt with his logo on it. And it was like one of those times where you kind of miss the point because you're so worried about what's in your head. I was worried about him joining back on. I was worried about keeping my recurring revenue up. I missed the reality right there in front of me. He was busy. And he was like, man, look at what you've done here. Of course I want to keep going. What else can we do? He was hooked. That's what we need to do for our clients. If we can deliver results in the early days, they'll fall in love and they'll never want to stop working with us. And we won't have to rely on some scammy contract. We can just rely on getting them genuine results. And then when we go to bed at night, we can be happy because we're getting great results for our clients. Conversely, there are also times where you won't get great results right away, or you might see a spike followed by a dip. That's okay too. SEO is a complicated beast. It's going to take time, but we should see that natural up and to the right. And so I just told you a couple stories about how we got some really quick results for clients in the early days, and also how over time we were able to get some magnificent results. I mean, really, if you think about those last 3 clients, all of their businesses might not have made it had they not taken efforts to work on their SEO. I'm not saying it was me. I'm not saying it was the particular local SEO framework, but had they just ignored what was going on with their business, they may have had to shut things down. But they focused on their SEO, they were dedicated, they stuck to the plan, and now they're seeing great results, and all of their businesses are in points where they're growing, which is amazing. And all 3 of them are getting great results for their business, and they're actually at the point where they're all growing. That's amazing, and those are the results I want to see for your clients. All right, so I hope you had fun in this lesson. We talked about some statistics that can kind of give you a better idea of how people are using local SEO and why it's so important for businesses that serve local customers. But more importantly, we sat down and we listened to some actual results from real clients that I've dealt with. And I'm hoping that you have some success stories like that very soon from your clients. And now that we know that, it's time to get into myth busting mode because we're going to talk about some of those SEO misconceptions. Let's get into it.